Hey, how's it going? So we found out that chapter 8 was just a little bit long for the memory card. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and finish. Real quickly, I'll pick up by reading where we one paragraph before we were cut off, maybe two, just to make sure that you don't miss a single word. So without further ado, the conclusion of chapter 8, the Emperor's Malady. Hopefully Lydian will stay with us. She's such a great part of this. All right. A young man who knew more tales than anyone else in his home city arrived and bowed very low. Now, just to recap, in case you've picked this up the next day, the princes have devised a plan to cure the emperor's affliction of sadness by having him visit 7 of these new palaces that were built in his honor all around his great land of Persia, and that there would be 7 princesses there to delight him in conversation, and also 7 storytellers that would tell him wonderful tales to let his mind do the healing that it needs to do. And so he has just visited with the first lovely princess at the first incredible new palace, and these palaces were adorned with all sorts of wonderful gems, very beautifully built. The craftsmanship was really unparalleled anywhere in the region. And now he's sitting down to a story with the first storyteller. So, a young man who knew more tales than anyone else in his home city arrived and bowed very low. When Vahram signified he had permission to speak, the storyteller said, "It grieves me sorely to see your majesty so ill, but I hope the adventure I can relate will beguile your imperial sorrow and speed your majesty back to health." The emperor, who was passionately fond of stories, said, "I have no doubt that in some measure you will succeed, for a skillful tale, well told, has power to move the heart and elevate the mind. Pray, therefore, proceed at once." Thus commanded, the first storyteller began an account of strange happenings. Not only did the emperor listen with pleasure, but also the 3 princes of Serendip. They resolved to remember what they heard, so that someday they might be able to tell the same story to their father, King Jaya, whom they longed so much to see again, and who also is in poor health and could use a good story. The next morning, the ground trembled, the sky was dark, and the wind was blowing harder than before. Questioned by the princes, Zahmes reported that although Dahak could not escape from the cave, he was standing in chains at its entrance, shaking the earth with his thumping tail, and filling the valley with hissing winds in his anger and disappointment. I have just given orders," Zahmes said, "for the guards to put heavier chains upon him and to heap up a pile of earth in front of the cave. All this will take time, however, so we may expect the trembling of the earth and the storm he has raised to continue for several days." Vahram heard this news, but nevertheless decided to follow the original plan. So once more, the imperial party started forth, with the emperor again being carried on a litter. This time, however, he was able to raise his head just a little, so that people along the roads, even from a distance, could see his pale face. The second palace was hung with purple tapestries. The third was made of rosy marble, and fourth inlaid with shining onyx. As for the 5th, it was bright with paintings, and the 6th was paneled with fragrant cedar. All of these, however, were surpassed by the 7th, for it was surrounded with flowering gardens, ornamented with sculptures on rock cliffs, and situated on a lake. Here, teal, heron, and other water birds came to drink, though they were battered now by the stormy winds that still blew as strong as ocean gales. The 7th princess, too, was the most beautiful of them all. Her hair was as dark as the sky at night, her eyes were as bright as new moons, and her conversation sweet as the sound of birds upon awakening. And of all the stories he heard in 7 palaces, Vahram liked best those of the 7th storyteller. His were full of brave heroes, strange beasts, and many surprises. Indeed, so pleased was the emperor by the 7th palace, the princess, and the storyteller, that he decided to prolong his visit. Although still rather weak and somewhat sad, the ruler was now able to stand alone and even to walk unaided. The three princes, whose plan had succeeded better than they had expected, were delighted. One day, to divert his majesty still further, Vijayo began teaching him to play chess, a game which the prince had learned in India. At the same time, Balakrama and Rajasingha were making a new song. Before they had time to sing it, however, an imperial servant came into the room carrying a peacock feather. Oh, that must be from Kuhabad. Bowing humbly, he handed the feather to Balakrama and said, a man from Kuhabad who came here on foot asked me to give you this. Alarmed at the sight of the token, the oldest prince said, and pray, what more did he say? He murmured something about a great disaster, the servant reported. Then in haste he ran back in the direction from which he had come. We will go at once to Kuhabad, Balakrama said, for our friends there must be in need. With the emperor's permission, they left immediately upon swift horses. The wind was blowing now with such wild strength they had to lean against it in order to move forward. Moreover, the earth trembled and shook beneath them, but they rode on swiftly. As for the song which Balakrama and Rajasingha had made, it was now forgotten. A long time would pass before they would think of singing it again, but this is what it was. And now I'll sing to you the pantoum for the seventh palace. Give me just a moment, and we can use this to hold our place. Can you see that, what I just put there? That is a hint to things that are coming soon. Okay. Let's sing a pantoum for the seventh palace. A princess makes a palace bright. I'm gonna start over. A princess makes a palace bright. A storyteller makes one gay to cure an emperor by delight. As Vahram smiles slip out to play, a storyteller makes one gay with enchantments learned from long ago. As Vahram smiles slip out to play, though mountain storming winds may blow, with enchantments learned from long ago, to cure an emperor by delight. Though mountain storming winds may blow, a princess makes a palace bright. Okay, I think adding the guitar is a little bit better than just my voice, but I'll admit that wasn't the greatest of all the pantoums ever sung in the world. But thank you for joining us, for joining me and Lydian, I should say. I'll give you just a closer look at this hint to the formula Death to Dragons. What does that look like to you? Well, the answer's coming up in just 2 chapters, so we'll see you at the next one, all right? And the next chapter, boy, all the chapter titles make the story sound so terrible, but we get nothing but success so far because the princes are always following their kindness and their courage and their wisdom into everything. They're given gifts that they're not expecting or not necessarily looking for, but they're staying true to their purpose and to their goal of finding that formula, Death to Dragons. So the next chapter, chapter 9, will be called The Sad Disaster. Oh boy. Well, we'll see you then. Peace. Oh yeah. Get some good rest and have a fantastic tomorrow, and make sure you greet everything in your day with kindness, courage, and wisdom to the best of your ability. None of us are perfect, but we'll see you tomorrow for chapter 9, or maybe later tonight. Who knows when you're going to watch it. Hey, Caddy, you want to say hello? Say hello, Lydian. Meow. Thank you. Bye.